When I talk about the industry, we are talking about a $600 billion industry. Um, Now, this figure, we understand that within this, pie, within this kitty, the US market size is about half of it, as well as the number of agencies in the US. I think there are 13,000, as last count was 14,000 agencies in US alone. So এই কথাটা বলার উদ্দেশ্য একটা, why am I giving the US scenario? Amra onek shomoy, when we talk about agencies, when we talk about advertising, we sometimes compare us with our neighboring country, India, and even the countries in Asia Pacific. But তুলনামূলক ভাবে আমি যদি বলি, the uh, American or the US market, as well as the UK and the European market, accounts for most of the marketing spend. So the insights, as well as the research, as well as the processes that are set by, I think, the US market or the advertising market shapes us and actually has put us on the map as well. I've worked with global agencies like Gray Worldwide that are part of the WPP network based out of New York. And I can tell you that the learning that I have received, and I'm going to share a few of those learnings here as well, is monumental. A lot of agencies, a lot of us operate here, I think, in a myopic view. We operate it with glasses on that we cannot see further down the line. And it's very important to understand that there is a whole big world out there to take inspiration, to take insight, as well as learning from. Why do I say the US market? Because it's very relevant to what I'm going to tell you in the account management perspective. আমি একটা কথা একটু এখানে clarify করে নিতে চাই before I get into um, a little bit more detail. When I say account management, I am talking about the advertising agency structure or departmental segregation of personnel. So as we know, I'm assuming you may know, but some of you may not. Within the advertising agency scenario, there are multiple sectors, or there are multiple departments. One key department, of course, is the creative department. Within the creative department, there are the writers and the designers. We call them copywriters or content writers. We call them designers, we call them art directors, we call them visualizers, DTP operators, and so on and so forth. And the creative director leads that department. Let's leave this department alone now. Complementing this department is the account management department or the client servicing department. This is, I think, the department that we are talking about today. Apart from these two departments, we have some functional departments as well. In the regular advertising agency scenario, we have, oh, hi, great. So in the regular scenario, we have the media department, the planning and analytical department. So where if it is a regular agency or traditional agency, like I would say, that handles above the line and below the line activities, we have the media department who handle all the press and TV and radio bookings, plannings, and buying. In the digital, we also have a media wing, but they deal with data as well as the digital buying and planning. Of course, just like any other office, we do have the functional sectors like the finance, the admin, the HR, and so on and so forth. But primarily, so in an advertising agency scenario, we have the creative department, we have the account management department, the media department, as well as the functional departments. Some of the agencies, now I say some, because this is not a worldwide phenomena. Um, some of the agencies have a research and planning wing as well that supplements or complements the account management as well as the creative side. Having said that, our role in the account management department is the primary focus today. Our roles, um, now, just to give you a little bit of history, back in the day, I think before the 50s, in the US, there was no department called account management. There was called the contact department or the contact executives. Why? Because they were the primary liaisons, they were the contact points. And therefore comes the certain documentation that we use called sometimes called contact reports and so on and so forth. We now call them by a lot of names, minutes of the meetings and so on and so forth. But primarily, just to understand, this was called the contact department. But very soon we found, well, while it was called the contact department, and those of you who have seen, the very popular series Mad Men, you will have seen that the planners or the creative uh, partners or the fellows used to actually lead the agency, and the contact department was just the messenger with the duty to shuffle between the client and the creatives. The creatives would actually do everything in an agency, starting from creation to execution to even presentations and so on and so forth. This role over the years have changed, and these roles have now morphed and actually have been segregated more. So while I am going to talk a little bit more about these things, I would just like this clarification. Some of you already know this, but I thought this clarification was necessary. Now you may ask, then are we we are not in the business of advertising. Some of us are entrepreneurs, some of us are CEOs and COOs and CXOs, some of us are working in other aspects. How is this relevant? I have found that, and I'm going to cover this as well in further, but this role has um, a lot of chameleon effects in the sense that I have seen that this role allows me to do much more and take on a lot of other hats and put them on as well. Um, Client servicing executives have moved on to become very good customer focused, sales oriented people. They've also become very good in-house marketing assets, because we deal with a lot of brands and a lot of marketing strategies as well as creative development. So we are that one man army sometimes, that in-house departments of a lot of multinationals and globals are hiring. So if you'll see, even multinationals like British American Tobacco, or the best case scenario would be Unilever, who are slowly moving away from employing agencies to have their own in-house resources. And those resources are taken always, I think, from the account management side of things. And of course, these roles allow us as well to flourish into a lot other things. I think the best agencies are not only just created by creative department, creative directors, but they're also created by strategy directors as well as account directors as well, who move on in their further lives to create agencies or boutique agencies of their own. We'll talk about the career progression very soon, but just to give you a context of where we are coming from.